instant messages on MSN or Yahoo and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story. 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 We always need to hear both sides of the story. 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 Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
Twixt my house and thy house, the pathway is broad. In thy house or my house is half the world's hoard. By my house and thy house hangs all the world's fate. On thy house and my house lies half the world's hate. For my house and thy house no help shall we find, save thy house and my house, kin cleaving to kind. If my house be taken, thine tumbleth anon. If thy house be forfeit, mine followeth soon. Twixt my house and thy house, what talk can there be of headship or lordship or service or fee? Since my house to thy house no greater can send than thy house to my house, friend comforting friend. And thy house to my house no meaner can bring than my house to thy house, king counseling king.
Everybody have a run I know over my head. I'm so over my head and pray someday on my bed and pray on my bed with love in my heart with love for everyone. Remember Galaxy, remember where Galaxy, that time I'm a everybody I'm a even my Remember when around 6 months, time I go train. Everybody I go run away. Yeah. I know. Oh, girl, one day. I know now. Oh, girl, one day. And pray someday on my day. And pray on my day. With love in my heart. With love, for everyone. Remember when my
I Need a Roof, the Mighty Diamonds. And by now you'd know the significance of playing this particular recording or any recording during this week. Recordings of the trio, the Mighty Diamonds, and all in a week when the light of one of those diamonds went out, and the Jamaicans at home and abroad and the people of the world who have enjoyed the music of this powerful trio of Fitzroy Bunny Simpson, Lloyd Judge Ferguson, and the late Donald Tabby Shaw, who left us this week. Condolences once again to the remaining members of the band and the family, friends, colleagues, well-wishers of the late Donald Tabby Shaw. This is a special edition of Both Sides of the Story, part of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Cross Country. The focus is on St. Catherine. And if you're wondering about the connection with the poetry of Rudyard Kipling, a piece entitled A Song of the Dominions, A Song of the Dominions by Rudyard Kipling. That's the piece we recited a short while ago. Some people refer to it as the houses. For quick reference or for ease of reference, they refer to the poem as the houses. Twixt my house and thy house, the pathway is broad. In thy house or my house is half the world's hoard. By my house and thy house hangs all the world's fate. On thy house and my house lies half the world's hate. And it goes on. It's quite loaded on the face of it in its simplest form. It's a celebration of community and recognizing that we need each other, whether we want to admit it or not. And well-run communities are healthy places and healthy spaces. But those that are allowed to run into ruin will forever be torturous places. And we also thought this afternoon, when we realized that we were focusing on St. Catherine this afternoon, is the fact that this parish, which is the most populous parish in Jamaica, the parish of St. Catherine, demographically speaking, St. Catherine is Jamaica's largest parish. demographically speaking, meaning people. When we're talking about people and the population, St. Catherine is Jamaica's largest parish, demographically. Geographically, St. Anne is Jamaica's largest parish. In terms of landmass, St. Anne is Jamaica's largest parish geographically, but St. Catherine is Jamaica's largest parish demographically, meaning people, population, in terms of population size. And perhaps the most densely populated area within the parish of St. Catherine is the municipality of Portmore. And when I think of St. Catherine, I think of houses and housing. And I'm thinking of those who swear by their Portmore house, those who have benefited from the National Housing Trust's housing projects and programs over the years, and what it means to Jamaicans living in populated areas like Portmore to get the keys to their own home. It's a great feeling, and it serves to motivate others as well to acquire their own property. And you essentially, in a lot of the instances, you get a box, and we're not being disrespectful, but you get a box for a house. And because of the ambitious nature of our people, we transform these boxes into mansions, quite frankly. That's what our people have been doing for years now. It's not unique to Portmore, but it's most pronounced in Portmore. One moment, please.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15.
Come and gather with friends, family, and fellow followers of Jesus Christ. Come and feel peace through music and messages of Jesus Christ. Come and hear the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Come and see what is possible because of Him.
Join us for General Conference on Sunday 3rd at 10:30 a.m. here on this station.
Sunshine stocks ripples, I go with the road with RJR clean across country invasion team. So link up your friend among them, a couple ripples and run, come and join in and just rip into it, rip into it, rip into it. Ripping it now. Ripples sour cream, ripples barbecue, ripples lightly salted just for you. Rip a pack for your friends, not one, rip a few. Ripples for your family, ripples for your grow, just Sunshine stocks ripples. Rip into it, rip it, 100% real potato goodness.
There is a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with approximately only 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people, such as contract workers and the self-employed, do not participate in a formal pension plan, and some are not eligible for a government pension.
For 2:30.
Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
RJR, Dina Group. It's a cross-country invasion.
This broadcast of both sides of the story, focusing on the parish of St. Catherine, is brought to you by main sponsors Grace Foods, Sunshine Snacks, Garden Life, Digicel Foundation, associate sponsors Hypro Ace, Gateway Cooperative Credit Union, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, H&L Rapid True Value and H&L Agro, Tranback Tonic Wine, Caribbean School of Medical Science Jamaica, and Guardian General Insurance.
I'm tempted to ask the question every time we come back from the break. What does your NHT home what does your NHT home mean to you? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to acquire property in this country? And how has the NHT's starter programs served you from the standpoint of getting a start and then building on that literally and literally and figuratively? And as we said, the slant has come because when we think of St. Catherine, we're thinking of vast swathes of land where housing development is always happening. Even now, as we speak, the parish of St. Catherine is awash with housing developments, and that has been the case for some time. And so the population there continues to grow. And we did touch base off air with the mayor. He is actually in Hanover, touring with I think he's with the leader of the opposition, touring Hanover. And as long as the telecommunications systems that we'll be employing are functional when we have to call the mayor for his interview, we will go ahead. If not, we'll just keep checking back with him to make sure we're able to connect and have a conversation here on both sides of the story. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point, this is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and or the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281, 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page, as well as on the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? And we welcome all comers, except that we would love to hear from the people of St. Catherine this afternoon. How are things in your parish? Are things going as you believe they should be going? Are things happening the way you think they should be happening? What are your thoughts on how development in your parish of St. Catherine is taking hold? Feel free to call us on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And we're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat. So many ways to reach us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. And so let's give you the introduction the way we're accustomed to. How about that? It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the first day of the fourth month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. It's the start of World Autism Awareness Month. Here in Jamaica, April is Cancer Awareness Month, Farmers Month, and Manufacturers Month. It's Captain Regent's Day in San Marino, Cyprus National Day in Cyprus, Republic Day in Iran, Youth Day in Benin. It's All Fools Day. Hoy es viernes el 1 de abril 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est vendredi le 1er avril 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un du souhait parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Friday, the 1st of April, 2022. You know, it's a Jamaican thing. There's a tendency to say April. April. There's no such thing, unless you're talking Jamaican. If you're talking Jamaican, it's okay to say April. But it's April. April. It's Friday, the 1st of April, 2022. And we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Everybody have a yeah. I know, oh, I know now,
And so it's a new month, April. The Romantic Romans named April after the flower buds that open in this month. Did you know that? Yes, it is true. The Romantic Romans named April after the flower buds that open in this month, basing their Aprilis on the Latin aperia, meaning open. The first day of April, as we've indicated, is known as All Fools' Day. The word fool comes from the Latin word follies, Follies, which literally meant bellows, but came to mean a windbag. Now, All Fools' Day is a day, and I don't know the extent to which we do these things anymore, but it's usually a day when childish pranks are played and their victims are taunted with cries of April Fool. Let's tell you some more about April Fools or the 1st of April, All Fools' Day. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Sunshine starts rivers. Repent to it. Repent to it. Repent to it. I just want you. Repent to it. Repent to it. Repent to it. Repent right now. Ripples sour cream. Ripples barbecue. Ripples like salted just for you. Rip a pack for your friends. Not one. Rip a few. Ripples for your family. Ripples for your grow. Just repent to it. Repent to it. Repent to it. I just want you. Sunshine snaps ripples. Repent to it. Rip it.
Remember the guest.
Real potato goodness. Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony here on the Lord's side.
Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor AgriCare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor AgriCare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers.
I didn't get that.
RJR, Green Ag Group.
Oh, all right.
Associate sponsors, Hypro A, Gateway Cooperative Credit Union, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, H&L Rapid True Value, and H&L Agro, Tramback Tonic Wine, Caribbean School of Medical Science Jamaica, and Guardian General Insurance.
Sorry, try this one for me. Yeah. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. The focus is on St. Catherine this afternoon, and we encourage those of you in the parish of St. Catherine, if you have issues that you'd like to have addressed, if there are concerns that you have, if there are commendations you would like to share, then so be it. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Wanted to give you an idea of the evolution of developments in this parish of St. Catherine. Listen to this. Well, let's finish the story of All Fools Day first, which I don't get the impression that people are big on this kind of exercise, observance, call it what you will. But April Fool seems to have been brought from France to England in about 1700, but its origins and the reason it is celebrated on April 1 remain unknown. There are several explanations. The oldest says All Fools' Day is a relic of the Roman Ceralia, held at the beginning of April to honor Ceres, Ceres, the goddess of agriculture. It seems that Ceres's daughter, Proserpina, was carried off by Pluto, the king of Hades, and when Ceres heard the echo of her screams, she followed the echo, a fool's errand. Other theories hold that April Fool's Day falls in April because of the tricky weather at the time, because April is the first month of spring, when people are half awake from their winter hibernation and easily hoaxed, and because of the mock trial of Christ held in April. Still, another explanation is that New Year's Day fell on March 25. That's another explanation, that New Year's Day fell on March 25 under the old Julian calendar until the Gregorian calendar was adopted in 1756, and that people capped a week of festivities with April Fool's Day on April 1. The French call an April Fool Poisson d'Avril, an April fish, if you were to translate it literally, in reference to a newly spawned, naive, and easily caught fish. So, right, so that's the significance of the day. So let's get in a quick word. We know he's busy on the road. His worship, the mayor of Spanish Town and chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. It's good to have joining us at this time, Mayor Norman Scott. How are you, sir?
Hi, good afternoon to you, Dervan, and to your listeners.
I was lectured a while ago, man.
Happy to help. Right. So now let's.
I hope your listeners don't think that whatever we are saying it's all fool's day.
And therefore it can't be true, right?
Yeah.
No, I doubt that. I don't know. It used to be. I remember as a child that tradition, and we used to trick each other. But I haven't seen or heard of that kind of activity for years now. I don't know if you have seen or come across the day. Huh?
It's still up. It's still up.
Still happens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now speaking of
But nothing that I'm gonna say is related to all food.
right. It's not a fib.
No.
Right. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
All right. So then, Mayor Scott, on this first day of April 2022, how would you characterize your parish based on your own work as the mayor and your team, and the developments that have happened, are happening, and to come in your parish of St. Catherine? If you could give us a status report in summary, what would you say about your parish?
It's still the fastest growing parish in the Western Hemisphere. We have in excess of about 15,000 new housing solutions to come on stream. We also have the largest BPO project to happen in the Western Hemisphere. When it is completed and told in another 18 months, all the drawings have been approved,
Mm-hmm.
and works have already started. I think it's in Muslim Jamaica Limited and a foreign-based entity are the principals. When it is completed, we're looking for about roughly 3,000 new BPO workers in Spanish Town.
Oh, wow.
The whole textile mills that I grew up in the town as a child, and I recall those days when three shifts were done at textile mills, and the buses and things used to be traversing in and out. As a matter of fact, I attended Crescent School, which is very close to the textile mill.
Yes.
And so that old factory, is being transformed and retrofitted to accommodate factory spaces, plus the BPOs.
That's very encouraging news. And how soon is it expected to come into being?
I just said about it in the next 18 months.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. And what? Huh?
Right.
Okay. Right. So now, having said that, now you mentioned that the approvals have been granted, etc. How are you doing as a municipal corporation with respect to approvals?
Well, we are still sticking to the 90 days approval process for regular buildings, and to a lesser extent, depending on the kind of commercial building. Subdivisions, we're still trying to stay within the 6 months period. And again, most of the hold-ups are not as a result of the municipal corporation itself. It is usually because they are external agencies. And I'll just, say something quickly as it relates to the kind of operation that we have currently, where if an entity is in the process conceptualizing an idea of doing a development, it would be best to consult the municipality, then their team of architects and designers
would meet with the municipal team, and they would work through the drawings and ensure that all the conditions that would apply to the kind of development would be worked through, so that when you come with the final drawings and take them in, it is a straight process. So it would go to the various agencies, and they would be abreast of what is coming, and so the approval process would be a bit smoother.
And what about services to the parish at the local level? For example, the general cleanliness, the beautification, perhaps at certain spots within the parish, and garbage collection, waste management in general. How is the parish doing in that regard?
Well, as you are aware, that we don't have control of garbage collection. It is something that...
But you provide the money, don't you? You contribute to the...
No. We don't. The monies are sent to the NSWMA from the ministry, not from the local authority. Yeah,
but the point I'm making, the money is generated in the parish from fees and so on and so forth, correct?
It is generated from property tax and motor vehicle licenses.
And therefore, you should be able to demand that.
We can only ask. We can't demand.
Oh, I see.
We can. I was so frank because sometime in December, I was called by a radio station about a particular area, and I was promised that the collections would be done promptly, and a few weeks later it was not done. So I can't say I'm demanding. I just can only ask.
One moment, please, Mayor.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Come and gather with friends, family, and fellow followers of Jesus Christ. Come and feel peace through music and messages of Jesus Christ. Come and hear the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Come and see what is possible because of Him.
Join us for General Conference on Sunday 3rd at 10:30 a.m. here on this station.
I see it, because one day my little business is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and I make sure to put away a little something for my son. Better safe than sorry. And thanks to JDIC, deposit insurance protection on my savings gone up.
You've been upgraded. Deposits held in commercial banks, building societies, and merchant banks are covered under the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme up to $1.2 million per depositor per institution.
The JDIC is big protection for every little thing that matters to me.
Now that's name real upgrade.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor AgriCare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor AgriCare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
Jesus, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, oh, how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious call-in program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live and declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony here on the Lord's side.
RJR, being our group.
It's a cross-country invasion.
This broadcast of both sides of the story, focusing on the parish of St. Catherine, is brought to you by main sponsors Grace Foods, Sunshine Snacks, Guardian Life, Digicel Foundation, associate sponsors Hypro Ace, Gateway Cooperative Credit Union, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, H&L Rapid True Value and H&L Agro, Tranbat Tonic Wine, Caribbean School of Medical Science Jamaica, and Guardian General Insurance.
Thanks for staying with us, Mayor Scott. I did ask about. Yes. Right, so you have to go. All right, no problem. But a quick one. There's a caller who messages us a lot and calls us a lot to report how dirty Spanish Town is, how messed up Spanish Town is, and he calls your name all the time to ask what is the mayor doing about that.
You see, one of the things is that the citizens don't understand the way government operates. They think because I'm the mayor, I can just do anything and do everything in the town, and it's not like that. And I know, for example, there's this area out by the town center that is always locking up with water and all of that.
Yes, he mentions that. Yeah.
When I try to explain that to them, the roads are divided by the National Roads Agency and the parish council. All of those roads, all of the infrastructure belong to the National Roads Agency. Right as we speak, I have a bill that has not been paid yet to clear that water that was there for sale. And I could not have taken it anymore.
Okay. All right, we're going to let you go for now since you have other matters. We thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Thanks for having me there, but as usual, you know, I always try to make myself available to speak because I am elected to give service, and I'm also elected to explain to the people what is taking place. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Take care. His Worship, the Mayor of Spanish Town and Chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Mayor Norman Scott, on this special edition of Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. A special focus on the parish of St. Catherine. And so that is that. Speaking of St. Catherine, just a bit of history here. And then we'll have our next guest at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Listen to this. It is the most beautiful island that eyes have ever seen. It is not mountainous, but it is as if the land touched the sky. It is a very large island, larger than Sicily, with a coastline of 800 miles, and it is well endowed with valleys, fields, and plains. It is fertile beyond description, so that both along the coast and in the interior, there are several large, densely populated towns that are close to one. That's how Christopher Columbus described Jamaica when he arrived on the 4th of May, 1494. This was on his second voyage to the New World, which was afterwards called America. Columbus annexed the island in the name of his master and mistress, the King and Queen of Spain. In 1509, Columbus's son and heir, Diego Colon, sent Juan de Esquivel and 80 settlers to claim the island for the Columbus family. They arrived at the Taínos settlement at Maima on December 9 and established Sevilla la Nueva, or New Seville, nearby as the first capital of the island and the third Spanish city in the Western Hemisphere. Despite its initial prosperity, Sevilla la Nueva lasted only 25 years. In July 1534, Pedro de Masuelo, the island's treasurer, was at the court in Spain lobbying to relocate Jamaica's principal town. He made a persuasive case against New Seville, whose population had plummeted from 80 households to 20. The case for moving appeared plausible as New Seville's remaining 20 householders all voted to leave. But Pedro de Masuelo also had an interest in moving the capital from the north to the south because he owned a sugar estate by the Rio Cobre, where he had already built a mill. In 1534, the Spanish established their capital and called it Villa de la Vega, the town on the plain. So the Spanish founded Villa de la Vega, or Santiago de la Vega, or St. Diego de la Vega. In 1534, the town was established at a ford across the Rio Cobre. As the freshly chartered urban center for a royal Spanish colony, the new inland town adopted the plans organizing the towns being laid out across Spain's rapidly expanding transatlantic empire. Later, Spanish town's streets were laid out in a grid-oriented fashion on compass bearings and organized around squares. Even with all of that, Spanish town was weakly defended. On the 10th of May, and this was 1655, on the 10th of May, 1655, a body of English sailors and soldiers landed at Passage Fort in Kingston Harbor and marched towards Villa de la Vega, or St. Diego de la Vega. They were commanded by Admiral Penn and General Venables. On May 11, the Spaniards surrendered. They were allowed a few days to leave the island. After conquering the Spaniards in 1655, the British renamed Villa de la Vega Spanish Town. However, it was not until 1660 that the British were eventually able to conquer the Spanish, when the last Spanish governor, Don Cristobal Arnaldo de Sassy, surrendered but was allowed to flee Jamaica for Cuba. But back to Spanish Town. Although eclipsed by the rich city of Port Royal, Spanish Town developed as the social and administrative capital of Jamaica. Its main civic buildings were erected at the height of the plantation era. The Georgian Square was built on the Plaza Real of Villa de la Vega. This is where the House of Assembly and the Courts of Justice were situated, and the governor also lived there. Spanish Town boasted one of the earliest newspapers, the St. Diego de la Vega Gazette, published by William Daniels, who, like other journeymen in the newly developed print shops in the West Indies, was trained at the printry of the famous American Benjamin Franklin in Philadelphia. Benjamin Franklin was one of the founding fathers of the United States, a noted polymath. He was a leading author and printer, political theorist, politician, postmaster, scientist, inventor, satirist, civic activist, statesman, and diplomat. As a scientist, he was a major figure in the American Enlightenment and the history of physics for his discoveries and theories regarding electricity. He invented the lightning rod, bifocals, the Franklin stove, a carriage odometer, and the glass harmonica. He formed both the first public lending library in America and the first fire department in Pennsylvania. Now, Kingston was the great mercantile center, and after the 1692 earthquake destroyed Port Royal, and so Kingstonians enviously sought to have their city become the capital. In 1755, the merchants curried favor with the governor, Sir Charles Knowles, and persuaded him to force a bill through the legislature for the removal of the capital to Kingston. As soon as the bill was passed, the archives were taken there. The people of Spanish Town lodged a swift protest with the King of England, and Governor Knowles was replaced by Sir Henry More. The bill was eventually proclaimed illegal since the king had not given his assent. He didn't agree to that. And so, there you go. St. Catherine has a rich history, as we've told you over the years, and we continue to share. So, for example, remember the other day we told you about the old iron bridge, and we said there's a book on it. Well, we copied a couple of pages out of our book on that bridge. Here's a bit of the story about that bridge in Spanish Town. The Rio Cobre rises in the mountainous northern reaches of the parish of St. Catherine, whose capital, Spanish Town, was for centuries the capital of Jamaica. Spanish settlers in Jamaica founded the town in 1534, calling it Villa de la Vega, the town on the plains, and later St. Diego de la Vega, in honor of St. James, patron saint of Spain. When the English captured Jamaica in 1655, they burned much of the Spanish settlement, but named their own capital, built on the same site, Spanish Town. The British built their main square or parade at the heart of the town, with the governor's residence, King's House, to the west, the old House of Assembly opposite, the old courthouse to the south, and the Rodney Memorial with the statue of Admiral Lord George Rodney to the north. And the story goes on. The first recorded bridge over the Rio Cobre between Spanish Town and Kingston appears to have been erected some miles below the town on the instruction of the House of Assembly by Act of May 14, 1699, but at the expense of the residents of the beneficiary parishes of St. Catherine and St. Andrew. Edward Long, writing A History of Jamaica some 75 years later, noted that it was soon swept away by a flood for want of a proper foundation and had not been replaced. More in a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
When Montego Bay can I get sponge for pillow or bed? United Sales. What about stationery? United Sales. Sewing supplies? United Sales. Where's United Sales? Is Mr. Martin Place on Union Street across the Parish Council. Them still open? Yes, they're still open for business supporting offices, tradespeople, schools, and students with supplies at reasonable prices. I'm going there right now. United Finance, Sales and Services, and Dorsey support of the Common Regional Hospital.
There is a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with approximately only 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people, such as contract workers and the self-employed, do not participate in a formal pension plan, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher. Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor Agricare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor Agricare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. live on your smart devices all over the world. We thank you for staying with us on this special edition of Both Sides of the Story, part of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Cross Country. And the focus is St. Catherine. And joining us now, since we know the importance of water and that water is life, and we are keeping our eyes on La Nina and all these weather systems and managing our water resources, etc. Andrew Cannon is the Corporate Public Relations Manager at the National Water Commission. And as we said at the start of this program, when we think of the parish of St. Catherine, we think of people. It is Jamaica's most populous parish. More people live in St. Catherine than any other parish in Jamaica. And we think houses as well. So there's and more houses are being built, more people are moving into the parish of St. Catherine. And so the question is the adequacy of the water resources and the sustainability of said water resources in a parish, Jamaica's most populous parish, the parish of St. Catherine. Mr. Cannon, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I am well. Good afternoon to you and the listeners of 41067.
Thank you very much for joining us. And from what you know and what you have seen and heard and read in relation to National Water Commission and the parish of St. Catherine, as in the NWC working in the parish of St. Catherine, are there any developments, whether past, present, or future, that you'd like to bring to our attention or share with our listeners so that we get an understanding of the extent to which the water resources in the parish of St. Catherine are in fact adequate or inadequate?
Thank you very much. Well, you mentioned earlier about more houses being built.
Yes.
With more houses being built, there will in fact be more demand for water. Let's face it, can't hide from it. With respect to the provision of more water, though, we cannot manage what we can't measure. So therefore, every drop of water that the NWC produces, it has to be measured, it has to be accounted for. Right now, there is a problem with that, but right now, we're dealing with that problem. How are we dealing with it? We're dealing with it through what we call the Non-Revenue Water Program, NRW, which seeks to reduce NRW, reduce non-revenue water.
Yes.
What has happened over the years is we've had a lot of piping infrastructure in Portmore. However, over the years as well, these pipes, they have grown old. They have grown rusty. And as a result, we have leaks on the network. So because we have these leaks on the network, sometimes the water is not being accounted for. Under the non-revenue water program, we are fixing these leaks. That is why in several communities, especially those in Greater Portmore, our crews are out on the road ensuring that we fix these leaks, because if we don't fix these leaks, then persons are not going to have the water that they want, and as a result of that, persons are going to be not being supplied, and they're going to call your show and blast the NWC. So we're fixing as many leaks as we can as part of the non-revenue water program. In addition to all of that, we are also ensuring that persons are properly metered. Right now, several of the customers in St. Catherine and Portmore, they have the old or analog meters. We're moving to the digital meters, whereby every drop is accounted for. Now, the listener should hear me well and hear me good now. When we put in these new meters, the Portmore residents and other residents in St. Catherine who have these new meters, you may see a jump in your water bill. When you see the jump in your water bill, the NWC not teach you. That's not what we're doing. We're just billing you what you ought to have been billed in the first place. So therefore, these meters, they are extremely accurate. And because they are extremely accurate, it's very important that you are conscientious in the way now of your consumption patterns. If you don't have to have the pipe running while you're brushing your teeth. Don't have the pipe running, while you're soaping up in the shower, right? If you can scrape out the gravy and wipe out any kind of meat from the dish with cloth, please do so, as opposed to having the pipes running, all right? So you should look out for that, the installation of these new meters, all right? Because it's going to measure accurately the water that you use, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me also stress that under our NRW program, we have the 3 phases. The audit phase, whereby we had done the audit to see where in the community the leaks are taking place. The implementation phase, where we're going to implement a lot of things, including these new meters and better pipelines. And the sustainability phase, whereby we ensure that after the program, what we have put in place is going to be sustained. Now, let me mention one other thing.
Yes.
In this part of the program, we have detected what we call socially challenged areas, SCAs. Those are persons who are using the water, they are consuming the water, but they're not customers of the NWC. All right? So, what we've done, and we are doing, we're having some public education exercises with a number of residents in those socially challenged areas for them to be properly registered with the NWC and for them to be properly metered, whereby they can get their water and pay for their water. Parts of Dervan Park, parts of Newland, parts of Navahead, just to name a few. We just want the residents in those areas. Please partner with us. We know it's a new day, the dawning of a new age, whereby you're being asked to pay for the supply. But, as you mentioned earlier, Dervan, if persons don't pay for the supply, we are not going to have any money to ensure that we have the supply for generations yet unborn. Water, it costs money, lots of money. To pump the water costs money. To treat the water costs money. To distribute the water costs money. So we need the people to pay the bill on time and in full. And that is why we're moving into these socially challenged areas to ask the residents, you weren't connected before and you were using, now you're going to get connected and now you're going to pay.
Got you on that. We have seen and we're still seeing pipe laying works taking place along Spanish Town Road. It seems to be quite extensive. What kind of implications for those who perhaps are not making the connections? What are the implications of that work for the neighboring parish of St. Catherine?
All right. No, we know that, as I said earlier, the infrastructure is quite old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're changing all the infrastructure along Spanish Town Road. And that is going to serve a number of our customers, not necessarily in St. Catherine, but parts of central Kingston, Marcus Garvey Drive, and downtown Kingston, all right? So there's going to be a more sustainable supply for those communities that I have named. And then now, if we can sustain those areas with water, we won't have to take water from anywhere else to serve other areas. So we won't have to take water from any place that would serve the Portmore people, because we have better pipelines now that will serve the residents of, as I said, Olympic Gardens and Central Kingston, Marcus Garvey, and going into downtown Kingston. So when we have water flowing evenly right across the network, it's a benefit to everybody.
Got you. And with respect to your service and the extent to which you are satisfying the needs of your customers, how do you think you're doing at the end of it?
We are doing relatively well, Dervan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first to admit that, it is not perfect. There are ways to improve and there is room for improvement, but we're doing relatively well. Mm-hmm. I say that because in many countries across the world, due to the impact of climate change, drought is taking place and there is a lot of lockouts taking place. We are not at that stage yet, whereby we have drastic drought, whereby we're turning our pipes, through for a long period. All right. What we're doing is managing as best as possible the supply that we have. as I said, the drought, we are going through a dry spell now. But even though we're going through that dry spell, we've been supplying our customers, especially in the time of peak demand. Like early morning, like starting from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. And when persons come home, they're going to have their shower and they're going to want to cook their dinner and so on and so forth. So we are managing well. However, we can do other things to help us manage well. For example, as I mentioned earlier, we do not get the impression that our customers are conserving as best as they should, right? Because we are getting the calls that, a lot of bills are going up, and sometimes when we do check, there are leaks. And unfortunately, it has not yet been ingrained in the psyche of some of our customers that just like they do a regular checkup of their health and their heart and, other parts of their body, just as they will check up their car, they don't really check for leaks. So there are leaks, and it's when persons get the big bills, though, they blame the MWC to say the bills are going up, but in fact they had a leak. And the thing with leak, Dervan, when you detect a leak today, it doesn't mean that the leak took place today. It means that you've had the leak for a very long time and you're just seeing it for the first time. All right? So we want our customers, please,
to be more proactive
as often as you can, and it could be a part of your site. You could check for it.
Yes. And finally, can you give us an insight as to how you and the other members of the team at the National Water Commission make your plans and projections? Is it that, for example, you sit down in meetings with the National Meteorological Service and other related agencies to try and get an idea of what to expect and to therefore plan and organize and structure?
All right. What has happened is we monitor the dam levels daily. We monitor the intakes daily. And the intakes are, those rivers and those streams. And based on that monitoring now, we will make projections as to how to manage the existing supplies. So what we do, we know that there is going to be periods of peak demand. We know that there are going to be periods of low demand.
One moment, please. Come back and pick up on that point for us, please.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high-quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:15.
Be a part of the e-Services Clearance Day at Kingston Wharves Limited. Every Thursday starting March 17, we go completely contactless for the clearance of personal shipments like barrels, boxes, and other cargo. Visit clickandcollectja.com to sign up or contact your freight forwarder to learn more about pre-clearance options at our warehouses. Kingston Wharves e-Services Clearance Day, every Thursday. It's fast, contactless, safe, secure. Call or WhatsApp 876-577-8905 for more details.
Who says an excellent medical education has to be expensive?
The Caribbean School of Medical Sciences, Jamaica, offers quality training through our affordable pre-med and Doctor of Medicine programs. Our aim is to develop a quality workforce of professionals. We offer excellent facilities, experienced lectures, and hands-on learning. Plus, scholarships are now available. Secure the career of your dreams by applying today. Visit us at 77 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8, or send us an email at info@csmsj.edu.jm. Caribbean School of Medical Sciences, Jamaica, your first step to success in medicine and health sciences.
Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live to declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony here on the Lord's side.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. It's a special edition part of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Cross Country. The focus is on the parish of St. Catherine. And since St. Catherine is Jamaica's most populous parish, naturally, chances are they consume a lot of water in more ways than one in the parish. And so we invited Andrew Cannon to share his perspective on this issue, and he has been doing so. And going to the break, Andrew Cannon, I'd ask the question about, whether how you apply the science to the decisions that you make ultimately in managing our water resources. And you were talking about peaks and troughs, essentially, in terms of high demand, low demand. I think that's where you were when we took the break.
Yes, so over the years, we have basically worked out a time period as to when we're going to have the dry spell and when we're going to have the drought. All right? And then now we watch the intakes in terms of those sources that would flow to the reservoir or to the dam. All right? And based on that now, we can make certain projections as to say, listen, we know when there's going to be high demand as well. We know where there's going to be low demand as well. So what we have to do is to manage the supply and the distribution of the supply in such a way that customers have the commodity. Water is one of those things people can't do without. There's no substitute for it. So therefore, because there's no substitute for it, we must always have contingency plans as to how we're going to help persons to get the commodity, even when we're going through the drought period. And part of that plan, as I said, would be to know when is the downtime operation. For example, we know that there are certain times when persons are not going to want to supply 24 hours or for a long period. And also we know that there are trucking operations that would have to be instituted for certain areas. And we know that we'll have to partner, for example, sometimes, with parish council to ensure that we reach some hard to reach areas. So it's really a joint up approach in terms of we're ensuring that, yes, even though there is drought, we try to ensure that our customers are not without the supply.
Very good. And how are you in terms of the use of technology and related tools to effectively manage customer service, customer complaints?
Yes. Well, what we encourage our customers to do is to, first of all, we do have our website, and you can visit it. Anybody can visit it, nwcjamaica.com. On it, it has a lot of information about, for example, when we're going to be having, lack of supply in certain areas, when there's going to be some kind of a fixing of pipes or some maintenance work. So our website has that. Persons must also follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter, whereby we post a lot of educational material there as well. All right? And persons can always call the toll-free line or customer contact center, 888 call NWC. All right? And persons can always go on our website and access the web access portal. So we are using a lot of technology to serve the customers better, and we do hope customers will take advantage of this technology. And as I said before, visit us on Instagram, and you see a lot of information. For example, whether or not there's going to be water in your area, whether or not there's going to be a disruption in the supply. All right? But we also want our customers to be responsible in terms of ensuring that they monitor their usage. So if your bill, for example, is like 2,500 per month, and then you get a bill now for 5,000, you may want to check out as to why you got this bill. You could have a leak. So make a call to us, 888 call NWC, or send us an email so that we can check it out and give you some feedback.
Well, we certainly want to thank you for spending some time with us on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story here on Poro 106 FM. Andrew Cannon, we thank you, and we look forward to speaking with you again in the very near future.
All the best to you and your listeners.
You too. Take care. Andrew Cannon, he is the Corporate Public Relations Manager at the National Water Commission, the NWC. And before we go to our next interview coming up at 3:30, we started sharing with you a bit of the history. In fact, a few days ago, I believe it was, or some time ago in the very in the very recent past, we shared a bit on the iron bridge, the cast iron bridge uh, um, at the Rio Cobre, and we read a bit from the book, because there's a book on the bridge. It's called Bridging the Rio. Well, there's a portion of it that's referenced as Bridging the Rio Cobre. And the first recorded bridge, as we said earlier on, the first recorded bridge over the Rio Cobre between Spanish Town and Kingston appears to have been erected some miles between the town on the instruction of the House of Assembly by Act of May 14, 1699, but at the expense of the residents of the beneficiary parishes of St. Catherine and St. Andrew. Edward Long, writing in his book, A History of Jamaica, some 75 years later, noted that it was soon swept away by a flood for want of a proper foundation and had not been replaced. Edward Long laments the inadequacy of efforts in his own time to provide a new bridge. Here's what he said. It is true, an act was passed in 1767 and trustees named for carrying it into execution. But as the act only empowered them to receive £5,000 from any person inclined to contribute towards it by voluntary subscription, it seems to have given no other power than what might have been exercised without it. Now to the bridge itself. Components for the Spanish Town Bridge were probably shipped along the Don Navigation Canal network to the East Coast port of Kingston upon Hull. There, a Hull packet article of December 2, 1800, subsequently carried in the London Chronicle and then reprinted in both the Royal Gazette and the St. Diego de la Vega Gazette in Jamaica during the week of January 24 to 31, 1801. And it notes, a bridge of cast iron, the first seen in Hull, was put on board the ship Ellison, Captain Gatecliff, on Friday last, to be fixed across a wide ferry over a river near Kingston in Jamaica. This expensive work was entered at the custom house for £1,060. The mere freight of it was £100, and the expense of its erection would be great. A manufacturer from West Yorkshire would necessarily go over for the purpose. Its weight was 87 tons. The strongest horse can only drag 2 tons, so that its conveyance by land would require 43 horses and 43 carts. The span or rainbow sweep of the arch, it was 80 feet. The cast iron rails to guard the foot passengers would be placed at 6 inches distance and of course amount to about 320 in number. The pieces which cover the top of the bridge were 41 and are 2 feet broad. It is an imitation of the 2 bridges over Colebrook Dale and Sunderland River. So this is a story of the oldest cast iron bridge in the Western Hemisphere. And where is that bridge? If you're going to or leaving Spanish Town Hospital, depending on the direction you're going in, look to your left or your right, and you will see this famous cast iron bridge, the only one of its kind in the Western Hemisphere. And you can read more about it. Just Google cast iron bridge, Jamaica or Spanish Town. But there's also a book, as we said. There's a book. The book is called The Old Iron Bridge, Spanish Town, Jamaica. The Old Iron Bridge, Spanish Town, Jamaica. So in between the interviews and the discussions, we're sharing with you useful information on places in the parish of St. Catherine. In 1664, Jamaica had 7 established parishes. The town and parish of St. Catherine's, and that Catherine was spelled with a K, St. John's, the town and parish of Port Royal, Clarendon, St. David's, St. Andrews, and St. Thomas, which were very large, and in them all but one church, that at St. Catherine's, according to Sir Thomas Muddyford. The first railway was opened in 1845. It went from Kingston to Spanish Town. That's another piece of the history of St. Catherine. 1675, an act was passed for dividing the island into 2 parishes. St. Thomas in the Vale was taken from St. Catherine. St. Dorothy was taken from Clarendon. This made a total of 15 parishes. And these days we're told Portmore is going to become Jamaica's 15th parish. 1867, as part of a reorganization, the parishes were reduced to 14. St. Thomas in the Vale, St. John, and St. Dorothy all became part of St. Catherine. In 1872, Kingston became the permanent capital of Jamaica, replacing Spanish Town. In 1889, the population was 639,491, the population of Jamaica. Bogwalk, we're going to another part of St. Catherine here. Bogwalk was originally called Boca d'Agua, water's mouth. That's a Spanish for water's mouth. Boca d'Agua. That's what the Spanish called it. But obviously, with the English capturing Jamaica, they corrupted a lot of the Spanish phrases and terms. So Boca d'Agua became Bogwalk. The English changed from Boca d'Agua to Bogwalk. One moment, please.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Come and gather with friends, family, and fellow followers of Jesus Christ. Come and feel peace through music and messages of Jesus Christ. Come and hear the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Come and see what is possible because of Him.
Join us for General Conference on Sunday 3rd at 10:30 a.m. here on this station.
We're set to be off again this Saturday with the classic Fame Frequency Retro Party. Featuring surprise DJs King Brown with Donovan Jacobs and Dalton Lee. Party with your host Debbie Bazoo in your VIP Zoom Watch Yourself area. And tune in live from 9 p.m. to midnight on Fame 95 FM, Hits 92 FM, and RETV online at OneSpotMedia.com and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency. That's Fame Frequency, ultimate retroactive party this Saturday, open too. Powered by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years old to drink. Drink responsibly. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night.
Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Rare Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. during Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
Remember when around 6 months, time I go everybody I go run
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, a special edition. The parish of St. Catherine is our area of focus this afternoon, part of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Cross Country. And we are going to talk about a place in St. Catherine that is loved by many from all over the world. There are some concerns with respect to the sea taking back its territory and related matters. And so we have invited Mr. Christopher Brown, who chairs the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society Limited, otherwise known as Helsha Beach. Mr. Brown, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm going to need your help, Mr. Brown. Your connection is not as clear as we'd want it to be. We want our listeners to hear you loud and clear.
Okay, let me see if we can reach you. I want to be so, you know, it's a little breezy.
You're speaking directly into the phone, or are you using earplugs?
Directly into the phone.
All right, let's try. Let's see how it goes. So tell us, first of all, for those who are accustomed to just knowing that area as Helsha, and they just say Helsha, talk to us about the function, the role and function of the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society Limited.
Okay, first also good afternoon to your listeners, and thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
The Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Society was formed in 1993. It was registered as a cooperative. We first was operated as a society, as a fisherman association back in the 80s and 70s. In the 70s and 80s, when we were first given the land by the then Prime Minister Michael Manley and told us to form ourselves into a group. But the struggle, we were not able to register until 1993, and then negotiation with UDC begins then as a cooperative. And in 2001, just to fast forward, in 2001, they finally accepted acknowledging the tenure of the fishermen cooperative and the first people who occupy the land known as Helsha Beach, and the title was given to us on May 31st, 2001, that is held in trust at the Ministry of Land, Commission of Land, so on the behalf of the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative for its use and benefit.
So you have your title.
It is held in trust.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So now, what are some of the remaining issues that you and the other members of the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society have? What are some of those issues that you're still dealing with, you're still grappling with, you're still trying to come to grips with?
Our main issue is erosion.
Beach erosion.
Beach erosion. We were originally given 10 acres of land in 2001. In 2001.
Yes.
And from then, we have seen where we have lost almost 3 to 4 acres to erosion of beachfront property.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of land.
Yeah, it's a lot of land.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years.
But why? Sorry, have you been given a scientific explanation from the environmentalists in Jamaica?
In 2011, with a contract with the then Flow Lime Company.
Yes.
We enter into a contract where they enter into branding and fixing up a few business places on the beach, also with the gate that the Castle Farm.
Yes.
And that contract, in that contract, we asked that
environmental study is done of the cost of the erosion and the possible solution. Lime then contracted Smith and Warner, and they did that study, and we were given the study in 2012 of the cost and the possible solution. The solution.
Before you come to the solution, what was the
cost is $2 million US to solve it.
$2 million US to solve the problem.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of money, man. I mean.
Yeah, we have reached out to many agencies over the years, to NEPA, Parish Council. We have most of the diagrams that are going around on the internet or in any government circle, it is taken from that study which we shared with many agencies.
Oh. So now you don't have $2 million US.
No, we don't have $2 million US.
So what's the plan? How do do you know of any grant funding agencies, whether local or international, that you could get some money from to get the $2 million US to do what needs to be done?
With the person that did from Senator Water who did the study.
Yes.
And we agreed that we were putting together a proposal to send to 3Cs.
That's another company?
That's an organization that give grants to deal with projects like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
What kind of response have you had from them, or you haven't sent them anything?
No, we haven't finished it. Over the years, we have put together about before the first election, we had make a representation to our member of parliament, who had made representation to the TEF fund.
Remind us, who's your MP?
Fitz Jackson.
Okay.
Fitz Jackson. So we make a representation to the TDB, to the TEF fund.
The Tourism Enhancement Fund.
Yes. And so a project was developed. I don't really remember the cost, and we had went to NEPA and procure all the permits to do the reclamation, because we had decided that since that the erosion has get so bad that we could not be able to take it on at once, we will do it in phases.
Yes.
Yeah, so we decided, and then the election came, that fund went away. About 3 or 4 years ago, the same project came back up again through the TEF fund. We went back to updated the plan through Smith and Warner with the help of the MPs, and the MP Fitz Jackson helped us to upgrade the study, and then the funds was gone again. A couple of years ago, we were told by NEPA that some funds was there from the World Bank to do fixing of Ghana, when it was suggested that Elsa Beach was the project that it was shunned and the funds was moved to other areas of Jamaica.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I don't know what it is that is, but somehow we don't really feel like there is some powers out here that is holding back, considering that this is the old beach owned by the ordinary Jamaican. Because when you think of it, our membership is 90th membership, and all these places are grassroots persons who operate the business. We started operating Fish and Festival from 1972.
Oh.
Yes, and we built a product that became world famous, been known all over the world. I've traveled. And everywhere I go, when I said I'm from Elsa, everybody is so glad. You can take in the festival and the fish, you can do festival fish out. We have created a product, we have still where JF Mills have capitalized on that. Separate have capitalized on that. There's a lot of agencies that have capitalized on that, on our product, and not putting in back anything towards helping or assisting with the protection of the beach.
Have you, as an organization, made any attempts to, well, you obviously had a partnership with Lime, which is now Flow, but what about other organizations, corporate entities, in terms of partnering with them
We have reached out to many agents over the years and negotiate negotiation. The dialogue and fall through. That will be much food.
So what do you do? Just sit and watch the ocean?
No, in 2015 when the erosion got real bad and almost came up to almost all of the building, then we had a grant that we, on the last payment by land, which was $1.2 million, we took that one, it was unanimously decided by the board and by the members to use that money to shore up the grant that the present grant that we had, and we did that, and we reclaimed back about 30 to 40 feet of beach.
Oh, so some work was done.
Yes, we are continuously working now. We are presently having our fundraising drive. If you may know, we are presently charging a fee of $100 per car during the week and $100 per person on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays and public holidays. From this fund, we use it to maintain and to upkeep, and also we are putting aside a fund that we are in a campaign that we are about to launch in the Save the Elcha Beach campaign. So we are trying and we are not sitting and waiting. We have the knowledge and the know-how, and we have seen where we have to a minimal project with a small amount of money and they have great impact. So we are putting together funds of this year. Hopefully we are estimating from that. Hopefully we continue to get the support of our local, of our Jamaican people and visitors who come to Jamaica and don't stay away and do not be afraid to pay the $100 a week. And that funds will go a far way in assisting us in implementing vital projects to save the LGBT so that all Jamaicans can continue to benefit and have the use of a beach in the St. Catherine area, which we serve both St. Catherine and Kingston. We are the only white sand beach that is free and open. Not free right now because we are charging a fee, but as I say, it is minimal.
Understood.
Many Jamaicans have access to and can come and relax on a weekend or a weekday, enjoy a fishing festival.
All right. One moment, please. A couple more questions before we let you go. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is Both Sides of the Story, the St. Catherine edition, part of the RG Arglina Cross Country. And our guest is Mr. Christopher Brown. He's the chairman of the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society Limited, otherwise known as Helsha Beach.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
When Montego Bay can I get sponge for pillow or bed? United Sales. What about stationery? United Sales. Sewing supplies? United Sales. Where's United Sales? Is this a Martin Place on Union Street across the road from Parish Council? Them still open? Yes, they're still open for business, supporting offices, tradespeople, schools and students with supplies at reasonable prices. I'm going there right now. United Finance, Sales and Services endorses support of the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Sipa copper.
Sipa copper?
Yes, Sipa copper.
Sipa copper what?
Sipa copper Ital Jamaican Moringa tea bags. Sipa copper Moringa, turmeric, vervine, neem, and guinea hen wheat tea bags today. Sipa copper tea is available in supermarkets island-wide. So Sipa copper today, you'll be happy you did.
Distributed by Pyramid Group Limited.
Get front row access to 5 exhilarating days of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships live on OneSpotMedia.com. Pay-per-view from April 5 to 9. Purchase your early bird season pass for only US $27.99. Offer ends March 27. Or the regular season pass for US $34.99. You may also purchase day passes. Days 1, 2, and 3 for US $10.99 each. Day 4 US $15.99. And day 5 US $20.99. Simply log into One Spot Media, select the pay-per-view tab, and buy your ticket. You may also download the One Spot Media app and watch on the go. Purchase your pay-per-view ticket.
All you'll ever need to know about agriculture in the 21st century, packed into one program. Farm Talk with Alpha McKenzie. Farm Talk, showcasing cutting-edge agricultural products, services, and practices. Farm Talk, keeping focus on issues affecting the farming community. Farm Talk, stimulating discourse to propel agriculture as a national tool for development. Farm Talk with Althea Mackenzie, the farmer's best friend.
When I listen to you in the mornings and the way you interview the people so that us as farmers can really understand, you break it down, it's really powerful.
Wake up to Farm Talk, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, the St. Catherine edition, part of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Cross Country. Our guest is Mr. Christopher Brown, who chairs the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society Limited, otherwise known as Helsha Beach. How we know that some time ago there was an incident that caused some people to become a little wary in terms of their safety. How have you managed to pull that back to the point where people have once again reposed their trust in the safety and security of Helsha Beach?
As I said, we keep constant meeting as our rule stated. We keep general meeting once every 3 months, at least once every 3 months. So we keep a constant update of our members so that the rumors and things don't alleviate every fear, and also we constantly updating them of our status and that we are in a safe place where our security of tenure is concerned, and there is no doubt. We also have retained a lawyer in order to deal with that and to alleviate their fear. So our lawyer is Mr. Delano Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we keep constant meeting and we use that avenue to update our members on the status of the property.
What's the level of compliance like generally among the stakeholders at Helsha Beach? Do you have a difficulty getting people to fall in line and paying attention to whatever established disciplines, protocols that you have on the beach?
Recently with the COVID, we have members upholding the protocol, but as like in many social areas of Jamaica, we will always have people who will not comply, but we do have majority compliance. We do have a maintenance where we collect, before we collect, we are one of the areas in Helsha. If you check Helsha, we don't have any form of garbage problem on the beach, because we have contracted a private garbage company who come out 2 times per week, sometimes 3, to pick up the garbage, and our members contribute to that fund and we pay that monthly. So somewhat we have about 70% in terms of compliance, and we are working hard to bring that up. But we will find most of the compliance and the problem where our biggest problem is that we have members who are here and they are leaving and they are selling their business without informing people who are coming in. So those people are coming in without knowing the history of the property and don't know. They are the ones that sometimes are resisting the urge to pay and the authority.
I see. So as we wrap, what is your priority right now as a cooperative? What do you regard as priority number 1?
Priority number 1 to the cooperative is to stop the erosion and see how best we can reclaim some of the large property that the beach that is gone for Jamaica, and also to bring Helsha Beach up to stand up to a part where we can be on the tourist board, where we can be one of the places to be that when tourists are in Jamaica, we are recommended as one of the spots to be. That is our main goal, and we are presently putting together a development committee from amongst ourselves to discuss the we go forward in our development alongside. We also there is a master plan from the side of NEPA. We are putting our development committee together to put together our documentation of how we would like to see the property development so we can assist NEPA the best way we can to put together that master plan to see how best we can develop LHB so that we all can benefit as Jamaican families.
Is Helsha Beach online? Do you have a website? Is there a Facebook page? How?
Yeah, we do have a Facebook page and a Instagram page, but we are not. We don't have a website. We have a project with JSIF that we recently, economic project that we
JSIF, that's the Jamaica Social Investment Fund.
Yes, that we recently submit, and it is to the next level. We will be sitting with our business development officer to write out a business plan, also to put together the website, a general website like the next program. We are looking at a program like that, a website like that where you want fish and you say El Shabeach, you click on it and all our restaurants will be there. And we are next week, Sunday, if I may say, next week, Thursday, the 7th, we are putting together information and business fair on the beach with a lot of agencies. As I said before in my opening, most of our members are grassroots. Most of our are no more than grade 9 or grade 10 education or high school level. And so we start this business just from the need of supporting our family and taking care of our family and sending our kids to school. So as I say, most of our business are operating informal. So one of the push of the Half-Moon Fisherman's Cooperative now is to get these businesses here operating down here in the formal sector. So that is where we are putting on the information and business where we are inviting the registrar of company, the banks, so that, as you know, Jamaica is going digital also, so that people are not likely to want to travel with cash anymore. So we are getting our member prepared to meet that new era which is coming in Jamaica.
Well, we want to thank you very much for giving us some insights into the operations of Helsha Beach, and we really hope you get the $2 million that you need to stop the beach erosion that is taking place and has been taking place for a little while now. You said some 3 to 4 acres you've lost, which is not good, but you have managed to salvage or to save.
Yeah, and I'm also it's great thanks to our councillor as well, Mr. Preddy. He has been working with us tremendously. He recently procured a project for us through the PDB which is ongoing right now, to beautify the front, the gate. We will be beautifying the gate and putting curb walls and walkway and refurbishing the gate. So thanks, I must say a very big thanks to our councillor.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, yes.
And also, I must use this opportunity to thank Jamaicans for their support and not to resist when they come at the gate to pay the Angelica. It is all going to a good cause.
Yes. And repeat for us the event that you're staging.
It is the Half-Moon Day SPC Information and Business Fair. It will be held on the 7th of April, the next Thursday, on the beach. We have agency, we are inviting all agency like the tax registration, the registrar of company, land agency, NHT, NIS, the police, the municipality, the fire brigade, the SPC, the HIV, and we'll also be inviting, putting in a vaccination clinic also.
All right. Well, we hope it goes well. Thank you very much. We're going to keep in touch just to see how things eventually unfold at Helsha Beach. But in the meantime, congratulations to you and your team for continuing to manage this Jamaican favorite, Helsha. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I know.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. You're listening there to the chairman of the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society Limited, otherwise known as Helsha Beach, Mr. Christopher Brown. And we thank him for sharing with us on this St. Catherine edition of Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And the Iron Bridge, we were telling you about the Iron Bridge, the cast iron bridge, which spans the Rio Cobre at the eastern end of Spanish Town. And we don't want to take it for granted that everybody, sometimes we, because we hear certain terms and expressions and we ourselves use them, but we never stop to question, what is that? What does it mean? What is Cobre? Rio Cobre. Well, Rio is Spanish for river, and Cobre is the Spanish for copper. So Copper River, Rio Cobre. But anyway, let's get back to the history. So the Rio Cobre River the cast iron bridge spans the Rio Cobre River at the eastern end of Spanish Town, and the abutment of the bridge is constructed with cut stone, while the bridge itself is cast iron. It's about 81 feet long and 15 feet wide. The bridge was erected in 1801 at a cost of £4,000, and it remains the oldest cast iron bridge in the entire Western Hemisphere. Here is another. All right, let's take the break. Maybe give you another bit of the history and have another interview.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. Who says an excellent medical education has to be expensive?
The Caribbean School of Medical Sciences, Jamaica, offers quality training through our affordable pre-med and Doctor of Medicine programs. Our aim is to develop a quality workforce of professionals. We offer excellent facilities, experienced lectures, and hands-on learning. Plus, scholarships are now available. Secure the career of your dreams by applying today. Visit us at 77 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8, or send us an email at info@csmsj.edu.jm. Caribbean School of Medical Sciences, Jamaica, your first stop to success in medicine and health sciences.
Get front row access to 5 exhilarating days of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships live on OneSpotMedia.com. Pay-per-view from April 5 to 9. Purchase your early bird season pass for only US $27.99. Offer ends March 27, or the regular season pass for US $34.99. You may also purchase day passes, days 1, 2, and 3 for US $10.99 each. Day 4 US $15.99 and day 5 US $20.99. Simply log into One Spot Media, select the pay-per-view tab, and buy your ticket. You may also download the One Spot Media app and watch on the go. Purchase your pay-per-view ticket.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for a live broadcast of the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this Sunday, April 3 from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 3 to 5 p.m. Don't miss the inspirational messages of this worthwhile event. This broadcast is brought to you by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this Sunday, April 3 from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 3 to 5 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Remember when you said that time about everybody I'm already even man.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4 heures de 现在 TDN 了4 DN Leung R Fen. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. It's the St. Catherine edition, all a part of the RGR Gleaner Group Cross Country. And can we just finish a bit of the history here on the parish of St. Catherine? Jamaica's postal service was established in 1671 in Spanish Town. It was the 1st of October, I believe, the 1st of October, 1671. And it was the first post office in the British colonies. First post office in the British colonies. In 1835, a clergyman called James Filippo, in anticipation of the end of apprenticeship, bought a whole lot of land in the area. He divided the land into lots for the ex-slaves. And some of the other notable sites in St. Catherine, let's tell you. Let's remind you that Spanish Town was established as the capital city of Jamaica in 1534 by the Spanish, who, I beg your pardon, did I say 1554? No, I think I said 1534. 1534. So Spanish Town was established as the capital city of Jamaica in 1534 by the Spanish, who called it St. Diego de la Vega, making it more than 484 years. Spanish Town remained the capital city of Jamaica until 1872, when Kingston became Jamaica's capital. Spanish Town Square, with streets entering and leaving at its four corners, was the administrative center of Spanish Town and Jamaica for both the Spanish and the English. The square is the oldest example of an original Spanish square in the Western Hemisphere. Spanish Town Square is the oldest example of an original Spanish square in the entire Western Hemisphere. The square was renamed Emancipation Square in August 1997 and is surrounded by buildings representing some of the finest examples of Georgian architecture within the region. Structures of significance in the square are Old King's House, which was erected in 1762 to 65 and was the governor's residence. The Old Courthouse and Town Hall, erected in 1819 on the site of the Spanish Church of the White Cross and recently, some time ago, destroyed by fire. The Parish Council building, which was the old House of Assembly and erected in 1762. The Rodney Memorial Building and Colonnade, built to commemorate the naval victory of the English under Admiral Rodney over the French and Spanish fleets under Admiral de Grasse at the Battle of the Saints in 1782. This victory kept Jamaica from becoming a French colony. The statue was erected in 1790, but the memorial and archives were completed in 1801. The names of the streets in the historic district tell much of the history of the old capital. We told you about the old iron bridge erected in 1801, spanning the Rio Cobre at the eastern entrance of Spanish Town, the only one of its kind remaining, the only one of its kind left in the world today. Other historic buildings include the Anglican Cathedral of St. Diego de la Vega, St. James of the Plains, built around 1655, and the oldest cathedral in the British Commonwealth. See how much history is in Spanish Town alone? Can you imagine if we were serious about heritage tourism, how many busloads of especially Spanish tourists would be in Spanish Town? There would be no need for any one order or clansman or Wandan or any gangs at all. There wouldn't be any need, because Spanish Town would be overflowing with productive people, with purposeful people. The place is so rich in history, and it could become a booming heritage tourism site. But we've been fooling around for decades and hardly anything done. If even to recreate the Spanish Town Square and taking note to keep or maintain the architectural integrity of the place and market it, and but it's going to take a little longer now, because we have to clean up the place, literally and figuratively. Place needs to be cleaned up and needs to be made more safer and more secure. Whereas if we had done it the other way around, which was to develop. But you see, people have this thing about doing away with the relics of colonialism and so on, and they don't want anything to do with colonialism. Well, surely Nelson Mandela didn't want anything to do with apartheid. But the prison where he was held for, 20 odd years, was eventually became a tourist attraction. And Robben Island is making a lot of money for the government of South Africa. It's a big money earner, and there's nothing pleasant about the prison. It's a representation of South Africa's history. But did they knock it down? No. Generations to come must know the history. If we knock it down, what kind of appreciation will they have of the history? So it's the same thing with Spanish Town Square, the original Spanish Town Square. Same approach that is needed. But we just see it as, some look at old building, them is something they're not good at, them, something they're for knock down, whatever. Just a lack of appreciation for history and the wealth that is intrinsic, that is inherent in the history of the area. Pretty much like Port Royal, which we were talking about the other day. Let's see. So the area is known as the Spanish Town Historic District. It was declared, the area was declared a national monument on the 12th of December, 1994. Spanish Town Historic District was declared a national monument on December 12, 1994. The historic district covers a 1-mile radius from Emancipation Square, bounded on the north by Brunswick Avenue, Kent Street, and the Rio Cobre River, on the south by Burke Road and Railway Lane, on the east by the Rio Cobre River to the Old Cast Iron Bridge, and on the west by Prince Lane and Belmore Lane. This historic district forms part of what is called the historic triangle of Port Royal, downtown Kingston, and Spanish Town. Can you imagine that tour on a daily basis? Tourists, whether they come on the cruise ships at Port Royal or wherever else, and they make the trip and they get a 3-in-1 special: Port Royal, downtown Kingston, and Spanish Town. Let's keep the dream alive. at least. Let's try to keep that dream alive. All right, so that's a bit more of the history. Now we spoke with the chairman of the Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative, Mr. Christopher Brown, earlier on, talking about Helsha. That's what it's about. When you hear the term Half Moon Bay Fishermen's Cooperative Society Limited, that's the organization that has responsibility for Helsha. So they're essentially talking about Helsha. The Helsha Hills on the western side of Kingston Harbor, the port of Helsha was developed as Portmore, the port of Helsha. The Helsha area was originally settled by the Tainos around AD 1200 and included Great Goat Island, uh, Two Sisters Cave, there's a inside, for those who have ever toured Two Sisters Cave, it contains a Taino petroglyph, and I need to remind myself of the meaning of that word, but it has something to do with the style of the writing or the representation of whatever the Tainos were reproducing and carving it. So it's a rock carving, a petroglyph, 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 petroglyph. It's a rock carving, especially a prehistoric one, and you can see that petroglyph, that Taino petroglyph, when you visit Two Sisters Cave in Helsha, in St. Catherine. One moment, please.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Get high-quality blinds and beautiful windows, drapes, and wooden flooring from Sam the Blind Man, 40 Barnett Street, Montego Bay. The time by Sam the Blind Man is 4:15.
Good news! Private HIV care is now more affordable with Health Connect Jamaica. What that means is you can access HIV care with a private doctor at little to no cost. Give us a call at 876-669-7349 or book an appointment at healthconnectja.com today. The preceding ad was brought to you in partnership with the USAID.
When Montego Bay can I get sponge for pillow or bed? United Sales. What about stationery? United Sales. Sewing supplies? United Sales. Where's United Sales? Is this a Martin Place on Union Street across the road from Parish Council? Them still open? Yes, they're still open for business, supporting offices, tradespeople, schools, and students with supplies at reasonable prices. I'm going there right now. United Finance, Sales and Services, endorse the support of the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在几点了？10点10分。16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know it's a Friday, but you know what we always say? Have some fun doing the homework now so you can have some more fun for the rest of this weekend. How about that? And as we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. And speaking of homework time and young people, we are heading towards Easter. and it's a time for family and fellowship and friends and food and so on. And it's that time of year when we consume a lot of bun and cheese. And there is a particular brand that continues to hold sway at home and abroad, and that's the Maxfield Bakery brand. Tariq Perkins joins us now to tell us more. Good afternoon, Tariq Perkins. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dervan. I'm doing great. I want to say a warm good afternoon to the listeners out there. Thank you for having me on the show.
Pleasure to have you join us, and anxious to hear uh, how you have once again managed to, and you have started already to excite and tantalize the taste buds of our people. That formula that you have there, that must be your top secret at at Maxfield Bakery.
It is, in fact, our top secret at Maxfield Bakery. That formula is worth its weight in gold, I tell you. That formula was developed by my mother, Irma Perkins, the founder of Maxfield Bakery. You know, Maxfield Bakery is 39 years old this year.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and next year is a big year for us. We'll be doing big things, and I'll be back to talk about it next year.
We definitely look forward to that. Go ahead, sorry.
But I was just going to say, but this year we still have big things to talk about, and we want to give all sides of the story today.
well, let's go. Let's start first of all. Has there been any adjustment, whether in terms of the variety, the size, the sizes, the packaging, or for the most part, everything remains the same as last year?
You know, we are always doing new things at Maxfield Bakery. It's never just the same. The only thing that remains the same is the maximum satisfaction that you get when you buy a Maxfield Easter bun. But we are very sensitive to what is going on in the country and in the world. And so, you know, this year we are offering more. So, for example, we have our COVID bun, which is a 20-ounce bun that is extremely
Excuse
affordable.
me, what you call it?
Call it the COVID bun affectionately. Affectionately. It's not
Yes.
the COVID bun, but we just call it that because we realize that, you know, things have been tough.
Yes.
We're rebounding now, which is great. But for those who have not felt the positive effects of the rebound as yet, they can buy a 20-ounce bun. A very small bun, very affordable bun.
Oh, I get the point you're making now. So this is this is your
our response to the economic
understood
climate that we're in. You know, there have been many challenges this year. 2022 has been a different season, not just because of the pandemic,
yes,
but also because of, you know, the global logistic challenges. You know, it has made it, you know, a very interesting year to try to predict anything, and there's been delays with things coming in and things going out of the island, and, you know, but we have been able to stay on top of it and ensure that, you know, we can provide maximum satisfaction, the same moist, juicy, fruity Easter buns at more affordable prices. We still have our health conscious bun, the brand bun, which is suitable for those persons who can't have too much sugar. So it has less sugar and more fiber. It has a nice fiber taste from the brand, and it is the healthier option that we have been carrying, and we still have it with us, and it gets more and more popular every year. Other things that we have done this year that are new, we are now a one-stop shop for bun and tasty cheese. So you can get your Maxfield Easter bun and your tasty cheese. You can get it online at our website, maxfieldbakery.com. We ship all island, and we ship internationally as well. You can get it at our retail outlet, as well as our partners with the supermarkets and wholesalers across the island. We can't say to big them up every year, because without them we wouldn't be able to reach everybody. And we have very wide distribution. We're blessed to be able to say that we're available in every parish, in every town, every city of the island.
And just back up a bit and tell us, because I know I don't know the extent to which you rely on inputs from overseas for your bun, but have you been, to what extent have you been impacted by some of the supply chain issues within your operations at Maxfield Bakery?
Three main ways. So the supply chain issues you mentioned, the logistics, so freight coming in, and there are a number of products that inputs in the product that do come from overseas. We use fine Turkish sultana raisins, a very specific type of raisin, not just any raisin going on actually, but that high quality raisin has to come all the way from Turkey, and that has been delayed because of various issues with content and the price to bring it in, the devaluation of our currency, 15% devaluation over the same period last year. In general inflation due to shipping costs, fuel costs drive up the prices of everything. So there have been a number of ways that we have been impacted. So needless to say, we've had to put on a modest increase in our prices because everything has gone up, and I don't think anybody is surprised that there is an increase. Flour has gone up like these 4 or 5 times since last year, and so all that to say, there are many factors that have impacted us. But we have planned ahead. The writing was on the wall, so to speak. So we have been prepared, and we're faced with things that we couldn't plan for because now there is the issues in Europe with the invasion of Ukraine, which has had a significant impact on fuel costs. That we could not have foreseen. So the list goes on and on, Dervan. And yes. But for those students out there who are studying economics, there are many lessons that we have seen in this season that you will be learning about in your classroom. And this is why you need to go to school, so you can think about these things and plan appropriately and manage business, because we don't exist in a vacuum. We operate in a global context, and something happening halfway across the world in Ukraine is affecting us right here in Jamaica. It has definitely affected and impacted our Easter Bun. But we're happy to say that we were sufficiently prepared and we are ready. We look forward to increased demand. We have seen significant increased demand over 2019 figures. We know we can't look at 2020 because that was crisis. 2021, the beginning of recovery, and 2022 we're seeing significant healthy recovery numbers well beyond 2019. Yes.
And what can you tell us in terms of the interest so far for Maxfield Easter Bun, both locally and overseas? Do you get a sense that you're going to have to ramp up production necessarily, or perhaps just maintain the current numbers?
I will humbly and very much gratefully say that, for us, the indications have been very positive so far. The export season is the first part of everything for us, but obviously we have to get stuff out so they can get overseas in time.
Yes.
Especially this year we have to get a little earlier because of the fact that, everything is taking longer with logistics now. But orders came in early, and they were very optimistic, and they were ahead of, as I said, 2019 figures in most markets. So we got and that's always a good indication for what is going to take place locally. Another channel that we like to look at to determine demand is, your listeners may know that Maxfield was one of the first buns available on the internet. So we have a website, maxfieldbakery.com, where folks abroad can order. But we're also on the biggest marketplace, which is Amazon. Amazon is a big dog seller, and it can give you a good indicator of what demand is looking like out there. And the bun started moving on Amazon very early and very rapidly. So we see it. We see that there is a buzz out there. So we have ramped up indeed, and we're preparing for Holy Week, which is the biggest week of them all, which is week after next week.
You speak of a buzz out there. My late mother would say, "I know something I go, and something I come."
I would definitely agree with that. I know something I go, and something I come.
All right, so yes. Right, so the different sizes, remind us, because you say you now have a COVID.
The 20 ounce now is the smallest one.
Yes.
Smallest Easter bun. We have the 28 ounce next. Then we have those two are not in a box. Then I mentioned the brand, which is the next, the 36 ounce, not in a box. We have 36, 42, and 48. Those are the box bun. And, if you come down to the depot, and if the demand is more than we anticipate, you may get them out of the box as well with a label. So, we have plan A, we have backup plan B, we have everything, but you will get your bus, that's for sure. This year, we are ready.
We are ready. So says our guest listeners. If you're just tuning in, we've been speaking with a gentleman who comes here every year. It's an annual thing now for Tariq Perkins to join us to talk about Maxfield Bakery and Maxfield Easter Bun. And do you sense that people, yes, they might still be purchasing, but or is it too early yet to say whether there's some kind of a pullback, or just people just buying just enough as opposed to going for the usual quantities?
It's very hard to make a categorical statement about anything. What I can do is I can talk about little things that I've seen.
Yes.
For example, one thing that I can say for sure is our churches and our schools are back in action. So every year we have a lot of fundraisers that take place through these institutions that would have been significantly affected by the pandemic the last 2 years. So that I can tell you, there's a lot more purchasing happening at that level through those particular channels. I can also tell you, I already mentioned export, and I already mentioned online. Our retailers seem very optimistic about our brand. They put in their orders as well, and I can tell you that there is optimism and there is increased ordering.
All right, one moment, don't move.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Applying for a license through the Cannabis Licensing Authority is as easy as, 1, 2, 3. Download and fill out an application form from their website or get one from their office. Submitted with all the required documents listed on the application checklist. You will be notified when your application is complete and ready for processing. Then pay the application processing fee. For more information, call the Cannabis Licensing Authority at 876-654-7582 or visit their website at cla.org.jm. Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor Agricare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor Agricare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
Get front row access to 5 exhilarating days of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships live on OneSpotMedia.com. Pay-per-view from April 5 to 9. Purchase your early bird season pass for only US $27.99. Offer ends March 27. Or the regular season pass for US $34.99. You may also purchase day passes. Days 1, 2, and 3 for US $10.99 each. Day 4 US $15.99. And day 5 US $20.99. Simply log into One Spot Media, select the pay-per-view tab, and buy your ticket. You may also download the One Spot Media app and watch on the go. Purchase your pay-per-view ticket.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:29. 现在地点了5点cha Archer Jiao Fen. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children, a good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're on the verge of wrapping up our conversation with Tariq Perkins, who has been filling us in on this year's offerings as far as Maxfield Easter Bun is concerned. Well, what you were, I'm sorry, going to the break, you were sharing a bit more information. If you'd like to finish what you were saying, and then we could move on.
Sure, just to wrap up that last point, I was just talking about, just some of the various trends that we have been seeing, because I don't want to categorically just say that, everything is up and everything is wonderful. We have to kind of cautiously, and I spend a lot of time looking at this data on a daily basis to really understand what is moving, what is not moving, because you don't want to just, look at one thing and then be misinformed. So, where I would be a little bit more cautious at this point is really the individual buyers. That's where I don't know for sure. I just think it's too early to say. So people buying for their households, I'm not sure what to say just yet about that. I'm hoping that it will just follow all these other trends that we are seeing, but I tend to want to be a little bit more cautious until I feel confident that the trends are heading in the right direction. But by all means, we can safely say that the country is rebounding based on what we are seeing.
Yes,
definitely rebounding. Overall, there's no doubt that we're seeing growth as over 2019, not over 2020, not over 2020, no, 21. Before all of this started, we're seeing what is growth. So it's definitely an optimistic outlook, but I don't want to make an assumption that it's growth in all areas.
Understood. And so, as we wrap, let's tell our listeners at home and abroad, first of all, why they should choose Maxfield Easter Bun, and also how they can get their hands and their teeth and all other parts of the
Maxfield Easter Bun.
Yes.
Great. So why they should choose Maxfield Easter Bun? I as you asked the question, I just was inspired to talk about the fact that this company is a true Jamaican company that is a family owned, family operated, family. The environment is very much familiar. It's a family atmosphere. Our staff get very excited about the season every year. They make a tremendous sacrifice to bring these buns to you, the consumer. There's a lot of care and preparation, a lot of love that goes into it. And I would like to say that, you should support Maxfield Bakery, not because it's a great product, because it is a great product. I might be biased, but it is the best one in the business. But because you're supporting a business that is supporting people. And, we really wholeheartedly believe in that. My mom, she's an amazing woman. I'm amazed and marveled every day when I think about how, she came about this business, and now it's a legacy that I'm carrying on. And, there are a lot of wonderful people making big sacrifices to keep it going from strength to strength. And we're really proud and we're really humbled by the warm reception that we have been receiving, by the tremendous growth that we have made and progress that we have made. It's been a long and not an easy fight, but we're happy and we're proud, and we're happy to bring our product to you. And we would want people to choose Maxfield because there's a lot that goes on, to make it happen, and we're very happy and proud to bring it to the world. And also, it's the best one. That's the short answer.
And the channels that people can use to get their Maxfield Easter Bun.
So at the top of the list, supermarkets, retailers, island-wide. We can't do it without them. So, every supermarket, big and small, go in. If they don't have it, you make a lot of noise and tell them you want your Maxfield Easter Bun. But we're very well represented. You can come to our retail outlets. It's the same retail prices at our outlet. 14 Central Road in Kent, and we have an outlet across from Coronation Market in the heart of downtown. Our website is also a good place for Jamaica. We deliver island-wide, great rates, partnering with Tara, www.maxfieldbakery.com. You can ship overseas also from the website. Shipping is free in the United States. Maxfieldbakery.com. You choose which marketplace you're shipping to, and you go from there. Very simple, straightforward. All credit cards are accepted. Very convenient. There's also Amazon.com, where you can go and buy your Maxfield Easter buns. And if you have Amazon Prime, free shipping, fast shipping, and all of that. So all the benefits of being on Amazon. And we are a Prime merchant, so, please do take advantage of that if you're an Amazon Prime member. And that's where you can find us. Follow us on all social media at Maxfield Bakery. We have a lot of content going out with our social media partners, so stay tuned to us. We always do these hilarious skits around the time to bring some cheer and joy to the season. Those things will be coming out now. And stay tuned. We appreciate all of our customers. We appreciate all the listeners of both sides of the story. We appreciate you, Dervan and Malcolm, and I'd love to wish everybody a happy and holy Easter and a great weekend this weekend.
Thank you so much. Well done to you and the family and the other members of the team at Maxfield Bakery. All the best.
All the best to you.
All right. Take care. Tariq Perkins of Maxfield Bakery giving us, checking in with us as he does every year and giving us an update on how this year is looking Easter-wise and otherwise. Thank you very much, Tariq Perkins. Ras Ayuda says, blessings. Donovan Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. To you too, Donovan Campbell. Asher Ash says, hi, Dervan, tuning in. Love the show. Watching from London, England. Welcome. Kareen Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Thank God for life. I'm learning a lot about these parishes. I really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Kareen. Donald Jones says, very Dervan, good afternoon. Good history. That's from Donald Jones. Rosie C says, last time visited Helsha, there were no changing rooms or restrooms, just a bunch of food shacks. Helsha needs to be overhauled. It's an eyesore, says Rosie C. Asha Ash says, that's true, Rose C. Natalie Winter in Washington Garden says, send me some of those nice Maxfield Easter buns. Wouldn't mind the COVID bun. And she says, I'm not surprised because the churches and schools are where businesses seem to have money flowing these days, regardless of the weather these days. Bun and cheese, big business, not only in Easter, but all year round. People buy bun and cheese to send abroad and buy online for family and friends. Thanks for your perspective, says, who is that now? Thanks. Oh, Natalie Winter and Anne Thornley Brown. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. A story popped up a short while ago. I think it was from the Jamaica Observer. Trying to retrieve it. Even as we're playing I Need a Roof by the Mighty Diamonds. And we know how much more significant this has become with what has happened this week with the untimely death of Tabby Diamond. Now, hold on where you are because here comes another. Because the Observer is also reporting that just days after the shocking murder of Mighty Diamond's lead singer Donald Tabby Diamond Shaw, the reggae group has been plunged into mourning yet again with the untimely passing of bandmate Fitzroy Bonnie Diamond Simpson. Simpson passed away Friday morning after a long battle with diabetes. That's this morning. He passed away this morning after a long battle with diabetes. In 2015, Simpson's wife Sylvia revealed that he had suffered a minor stroke on October 26 while driving in Kingston. I can't deal with this. It's tough. The second one of the mighty Diamonds to pass away in 4 days. Frankie Campbell, chairman of the Jamaica Association of Vintage Artists and Affiliates, Java, confirmed to Observer Online. So that, again, condolences. Condolences. So first Tabby Diamond, now Bonnie Diamond. The trio have released more than 40 albums in their long career. F-O-R-T-Y, 40. What a thing. Condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, bandmates of Tabby Diamond and Bonnie Diamond. We wanted to share one more bit of history to tie in with the parish of St. Catherine, and it's most timely as going through the list of things that happened on this day, and but this wasn't this day, but the fact that St. Jago High School won Schools Challenge quiz yesterday. There's a bit of history that we wanted to share about St. Jago, since we're focusing on the parish of St. Catherine on this special edition of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Cross Country. Let's give you that bit of history, the St. Jago High School history, as they continue to celebrate the Schools Challenge Quiz Championship, their 6th title, and 12 times to the 12-time finalists. More in a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission. Protecting your rights, securing our future. Tune in to Power 106 FM for a live broadcast of the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this Sunday, April 3 from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 3 to 5 p.m. Don't miss the inspirational messages of this worthwhile event. This broadcast is brought to you by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this Sunday, April 3 from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 3 to 5 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Hello. Hi. And you heard another of the diamonds has passed as well. Oh. All right. All right, just hold it. Just a moment, please. Just remind me of your full name. Sorry. Oh, you're Anne Thornley. Yes. Hold a moment, please. Que hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 13 que le retilo en français, les 5 heures moins 12. Tiens, Tidian le, Wu Dien Sha Shur Ar Fen. 12 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Well, the Mighty Diamonds have had a productive, a really very productive time at making very good music. It's with 40 plus albums. Let's take a call from Anne Thornley, one of our regular listeners in Canada, who wants to comment on the passing of Tabby Diamond. And now we got news a short while ago that Bunny Diamond has also passed. And
hi there, how are you doing? It's Anne Thornley Brown. I'm just north of Toronto. You and I met when you came up for the Diaspora Conference.
Yes.
A number of years ago. Anyway, the reason I'm calling in, I'm a regular listener. I'm Jamaican born, raised in Canada, as you can tell from my accent. And I'm just so disturbed, and my heart is hurting about what has happened, not only to Tabby, but the violence and the brutality in our society. And my grandfather was one of the founding members of the PNP. He was also the head of the Jamaica Teachers Union. And, it really bothers me. We've been independent since 1962? Mm-hmm. The movie The Harder They Come came out in 1972, a cautionary tale about what will happen if we don't deal with the root causes of violence in our society. And in 50 years, things are worse than ever. And I mean, all I have to say is this, and I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm really upset. If our current crop of leaders do not have the desire, the will, or the ability to make our society a livable place where people can thrive, they need to step down and clear the deck for a next generation of leaders, because this is really unacceptable. This cannot continue.
Yeah. Your position is quite clear. Yes.
And then Tabby Diamond. I went to hear the Mighty Diamonds. They were in Toronto for Rasta Fest. I believe it was 2019. And I stood right in front of him, right at the front of the stage. It felt like I was dancing by myself with him all night. It was such an uplifting evening. Their music was so conscious, so uplifting. And to lose him like that, man, it's just inexcusable, unforgivable. Although the Bible says we have to forgive everyone. But I mean, honest to God, I've really been disturbed by this.
Yeah, and the rest of us likewise. We for what it's worth, we are encouraged by your call. The fact that, no doubt, the family of the late Tabby and now Bunny would appreciate those sentiments of yours, just your general how connected you felt to this.
It's a gift. Yes. He had such a gift, Mm-hmm. And one more thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that he was living in the Prime Minister's constituency. Am I correct or incorrect in that?
You might very well be correct. I think it's in that area, in that general area.
So then why has the Prime Minister said nothing? Does he not understand that this is a national icon?
Well,
does he not get it?
For what it's worth, the Prime Minister is going to be a special guest of the Jamaica's ambassador to Washington, D.C. There's a town hall which starts at 6 o'clock this evening. I think that's Jamaica time. I need to just take another look at it. It might be an opportunity if you were to log on to ask questions of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, because if this is his constituency and it's in such rough shape, and again, I don't mean to be unkind, but if in all these years he has represented, those people have supported him, and there's been no improvement in their living conditions, my gosh. I was a social worker in Jamaica in the 1970s, okay, and I used to go into these communities and see the children suffering when they came to the hospital. I worked at University Hospital, and it breaks my heart that in almost 50 years, no improvement. This is really horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say no improvement. There's evidence of some work. What we could always do more. We could always do more.
Yes. Well, thank you for taking my call, and God bless you.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your weekend.
Blessings to you too, and you do likewise. All the best.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. We did promise to share a bit of St. Jago High School's history. It just so happens that we're focusing on the parish of St. Catherine today. That's what we have been doing this afternoon on Both Sides of the Story. And it so happens that St. Jago High School is based in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, and they are the 2022 Schools Challenge Quiz champions. So here's a bit of the history. Colonel Peter Beckford was Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica and the first Custos of Kingston. Beckford Street in downtown Kingston is named for him. Let's tell you more than that. Colonel Peter Beckford's son, Peter Beckford Jr., was responsible for the founding of St. Jago High School in 1744. Peter Beckford Jr. joined the Jamaican House of Assembly and became the Speaker. In 1710, during a debate at the Assembly, things became extremely heated and some members drew their swords and threatened Peter, the Speaker. The governor responded to shouts for assistance and the doors of the chamber were forced open. The Assembly was dissolved in the name of the Queen. The aged Peter Beckford Sr. was amongst those who had come to his rescue. In the general confusion, he slipped and fell down the long staircase. Suffering a mortal injury, he died soon after. Like his father, Beckford suffered a severe temper. As a young man, he was accused of killing the deputy judge advocate of Jamaica in a fit of temper. He was finally acquitted after a lengthy court case. Peter married Bathshore Herring, and they had 13 children. He died in 1735. His will included a legacy of £2,000 to found a school in Spanish Town, which was started there in 1744. This school merged with another school started with £3,000 donated by Francis Smith, forming the Beckford and Smith School in 1869. Peter Beckford Jr.'s son, William, was born in 1709. He emigrated to England and had a prominent career in politics, defending the West Indian interest as a member of Parliament and Lord Mayor of London. William's son, who would be Peter Beckford Jr.'s grandson, William Thomas Beckford, was an English novelist, a profligate, and consummately knowledgeable art collector and part of work, in fact, and the patron of works of decorative art, a critic, travel writer, and sometimes politician, reputed to be the richest commoner in England. William Thomas Beckford was briefly trained in music by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. So it was William Thomas Beckford's grandfather, Peter Beckford Jr., whose name is associated with the former Beckford and Smith, now St. Jago. Peter Beckford died in 1735. In his will, He left £2,000 to found a school in Spanish Town, and with later bequests, a school was started there in 1744. This merged with another school started by a benefaction of £3,000 by the Honourable Francis Smith and became the Beckford and Smith School in 1869. Beckford and Smith, which was an all-boys school, was eventually merged with Cathedral High School of Spanish Town, St. Catherine, to form what we now know today as St. Jago High School. Of note is the fact that Cathedral High School had some outstanding schoolgirls. In fact, on March 21, 1945, Cathedral High School won the track and field championships of endowed secondary schools for girls at Sabina Park. So what began as the Free School of St. Jago de la Vega under the will of Peter Beckford Jr. and the Honorable Francis Smith later became Beckford and Smith before merging with Cathedral High School for girls to become St. Jago High School. Its grounds at 33 Monk Street in Spanish Town were commonly known as Ravensworth. Labor omnia vincit. Labor conquers all, or put another way, hard work conquers all. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Friday, the 1st of April, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wish, nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm wishing everybody a peaceful, safe weekend.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Good afternoon, I am Dervan Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Friday, April 1, 2022. 3 days after the killing of the Mighty Diamonds lead singer Tabby Diamond, the group has lost another member. Mother of 2 children who died in a fire in Clarendon last month charged with negligence. Partner serial rapist pleads guilty. Prime Minister Andrew Holness hoping unprecedented release of oil from U.S. reserves will help to drive down the price of the commodity. In business news, only one telecommunications provider in Jamaica is ready to implement the financial cap on roaming for post-paid customers. Three days after the killing of Tabby Diamond, the lead